Alright, greetings everyone and welcome to another video. And today, still feeling tired, still feeling the burnout, but we're going to push through, get this done, and do a quick preview of one of the two characters that has been added to the game. As you can see here, we have our other character, which we'll not talk about this video because I do want to talk about Chunak, and I have zero intention of pulling this character. One, he's 90 cost. Two, as we get into, he's not quite as interesting as I would hope to for like a character that is effectively a brand new like character. It's just not the time to be pulling, especially after everything on the JP side recently with just 13 and tactics. It's this just isn't the moment for it. To begin another character. But there's a lot to talk about with this character. And there's going to be a lot to talk about the following week with whatever his vision card ends up being. Whether it's luck and evasion for water, or whether it is potentially slash penetration. The vision card next week is probably going to be the real notable thing. But you know, that does not make this character bad, so let's talk about him and what he will bring to the water element. So first of all, you are not limited water elemental, 3 move, 2 jump, and a 90 cost character. All of these things are generally positive notes. I don't feel particularly bad about any of it, but at the same time, as we're about to get into, none of this makes me terribly excited either. We are also going to do a bit of a test with him on this brand new map with a water elemental team to show the maximum kind of potential that he can get with full vision cards and everything like that. So here we go. And let's just bring up those stats. Overall, 7,000 HP is pretty much on par with what we're seeing in a lot of characters on the JP side right now. 216 AP, around 1,500 attack. You might be able to push that a little bit higher. But as you can see, we also have Chaos Odin, so this is very much kind of a evasion build. Interesting choice on the kind of equipment, as you know, it's not fully geared toward evasion. I know that they always need to effectively show us what this TMR is capable of doing, but overall, like, nothing here is really screaming what fencers normally are, and that is his primary job. So, you know, 95 speed, 340 dexterity, and 337 luck. None of this is really incredible for the evasion purpose of this discussion, as we're about to get into. And really quickly, let's just take a look at his resistances. Honestly, with the TMRs and everything that we have equipped, overall, pretty nice. Nothing natively weak here. Shooting resistance and spear resistance is kind of interesting, as well as some good overall elemental resistance from the party vision cards. Pretty nice. But, all right, let's talk about his TMR, and then we'll get into the overall view of his kit, and then we'll test him a bit. The first of all is TMR. You can see the stats right there. Defense, critical rate, and HP is pretty much good for the fencer class. No evasion makes me a little bit sad, but maybe you can boost it with some TMR runes. In terms of the skill that we are getting off of it, it is a 2-use AoE, increase attack by 40, luck by 20 for 3 turns apiece at 24 TP. I can see a fair number of characters potentially being interested in this if you aren't running, or you're running something else for evasion buffs. I mean, this might even just be good on light evasion team or any evasion unit who is looking to get a little bit more of a luck boost. And as you know, potentially the game changes and evolves, the luck stat may end up becoming more important in the future. So it's hard to say the exact value, but I think that it's a nice TMR, and I think I like it more than a lot of the FF13 TMRs, just because it's not elemental restricted and it's potentially good for multiple different characters. Now, this master ability is only a 5% attack increase and some AoE resistance. Nothing here is particularly crazy or insane. So yeah, let's scroll on and talk about. All right, so his limit burst decreases single target resistance by 38. Okay, all right, fine. Good on a single target and 200% mod, and it is a triple hit. As we're about to get into with the rest of his kit, he really does have a metric truckload of just triple hit abilities. In Thief, he has decreased accuracy, confusion, steal, evasion rate up, CT and agility, and guaranteed hit when attacking from behind. So this Thief does bring some good stuff potentially in terms of the accuracy. He also has steal time, which is valuable for certain fights where the boss cannot be slowed. But the evasion rate is what you're essentially always going to be running Thief if you're trying to make him an evasion character. And that might be where he just kind of is dependent on getting anything there. As for Nightblade, once again, we have the Pierce and Missile Resistance, we have Stun, we have Absorb AP, and we have a couple of damage abilities, but no triple hits in here. Nightblade overall, I think, is pretty uninteresting and not overly crazy good. Now, the main part of his job, really quickly, move +1 on one of his ability and crit rate up. Okay, alright, dealing more damage and everything like that seems pretty nice. And one that decreases accuracy while also dealing damage in a straight line. Fine, but nothing too much to write home about. Now, as we get into the main part of his job, we're going to start with his level 25 one, just because it's a 4-use 30 AP, increased slash attack, resistance penetration by 30 for 3 turns per self, and a 165 point mod. So it's a triple hit chaining ability that is AoE, has some range on it, isn't too high costed, and reduces slash resistance. Yes, he is a valuable character to get up to 120, but honestly, that's kind of where it stops. Like, he is outside of that, like, that's really good. If you pair him with a lot of the different slash characters, he might be interesting enough for that reason to try and run an arena. Like, if you think about it, Celeste and Astoria are still pretty good, even though there are a lot of lightning teams, there are a lot of earth teams to potentially go up against, or fire elemental teams like JP has become fairly diverse in its elemental meta, which I do appreciate. And, you know, this is a third water character with the Celeste Astoria. Seems pretty reasonable to be running. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but really, as we get into the rest of this kit, he does have a lot of the stuff that you would expect from it, from the Fencer job, from increasing evasion rate, single target resistance, critical chances. Interestingly, his evasion rate up and single target resistance gets a pretty interesting little boost, which is this one. So yeah, you get single target resistance, but you also get an increase of defense and spirit by 30 for basically 10,000 turns. But the effect is removed when he gets 2 hits. So it's an incredibly high defense potential off of him that loses its effect after 2 hits. Kind of a different style of barrier, but appreciate that we are experimenting a little bit with different types of characters and whatnot. We do have ways of decreasing critical hits off a large AoE. That one, which is surrounding him, doesn't have great range, but if you do have targets around you, you can potentially get multiple hits and getting a nice little feed off on your opponents by just hitting a whole bunch. He has decreased defense by 30 for 3 turns off of one by mod, and he also has a boost ability for opponents, which is this one, which interestingly is not only a, wait for it, AoE resistance for allies, but it also gives the Cloud AP regeneration effect, which is a great little thing to get. We've been seeing that a lot of different places. And yeah, a really solid little Fencer kit. Looking at what he has for counter abilities, he has the Nightblade one, the Thief one, and the Fencer one, which has the best range on it, decreases accuracy on the opponent and everything. So that's probably the one you're going to be running. Unless you want the Thief chance to counter and get some agility boost. As for support, Thief, he gets the move and agility increase, which is tempting. The acquired AP, which, if you think about how much access Water has to AP generation through vision cards, as well as this guy's kit, it's really, I mean, this is just another character that doesn't need bells and water. Really self-reliant and just like a story, very capable of, just being, again, AP self-reliant without needing bells. And bells is just a very big luxury. So great, freed up TMR slot. Love it. And of course, he has Night Blades, increase attack and accuracy with decreasing evasion. Probably don't want to run that because that would kill evasion even more. But his critical rate and damage up, and defense penetration and evasion rate up if you run the Fencer one. So if you want to run Thief, or you want to run Fencer, if you want to run some combination, there's a lot of good combinations in there that are really nice. He even has potentially increased accuracy if you want to go that route. His supports are some of the most flexible ones that I've seen recently, and that makes him really nice for a lot of variety, different things. But let's just give a general overview, as this quickly becomes kind of a review for this character. I should have just called it a review. No, it's kind of a review. Looking at what we have here, Thief is potentially useful and probably a good fit. In terms of accuracy and evasion in the water element, it does feel still a little bit soft, especially with this character who is kind of both on the accuracy front and on the evasion front. Even with Chaos Odin, good equipment and everything, I don't know if there is enough vision card support for evasion at the moment, preemptively before his vision card comes out and is just the water evasion card, which is really only for him. The water evasion just isn't anywhere near the support that light evasion and earth evasion is. So let's throw out the idea that this is going to be a really good evasion character. What about a PvP character? Well, I think in terms of PvP, his stats are generally, acceptable out there. He's in a strong element. He has good partners that are more on the limited side, but I think he has more potential than Farm does for what he is capable of doing. That being said, with you look at what is capable of the survivability of some units out there, and the fact that lightning is a very popular element on the right now on JP, makes it super hard for me to say, yeah, PvP character. So let's look at the other category that he could be in, which is the most likely one, the guild raid and PvP or PvE category. Tons of flexibility, more than good enough to be annoying for PvE opponents, while also dishing out a ton of damage. And let's face it, this guy has a massive amount of chaining. His limit burst is chaining, and he has 3 chaining abilities in the main part of his kit. He has 2 chaining abilities. I miscounted one because one gets an upgrade, which is the last ability I want to talk about. And also makes him potentially a PvP. A single target, break physical barrier, decrease defense by 30, dispel protect, and a 165 mod, and it hits 2 times. It's really good in in like PvE stuff, and potentially good in PvP. Overall, I feel that Snack here is a great get for the water element, but probably not enough to elevate it over the competition that is in the lightning element. He's an interesting character, and interestingly, on his JP banners, if we just scooch over here for a second, if you look at his 9-step banner, it's actually one of the more generous ones we've ever seen. Please load. Here we go. Going on his 9-step, as you go all the way up, you're looking at a lot of shards just for going up that regular banner anyway. 40, 80, just like 160 even for going up the 9-step plus coins. Again, this is super, a super easy to build character right away. Probably just on the tempting side since so many people have spent so many resources over the last few weeks. But yeah, this is a character that I would love to get this character later as just an off banner, and I would totally build him for the team of Titus, Astrius, Farm, and just have like basically a wind quality chaining team in the water element. That's really good. But guild battles don't happen often enough for this to be really super highly recommendable, especially with so many limited characters coming out. This is a character that just suffers to bad timing. So let's jump in. and see what we can do. Now, we're going to be looking at a couple of things. Mainly, I want to test out some accuracy against him and see how different characters potentially hit. And then we're going to just let the AI go nuts kind of thing. So, for instance, Farm here is one of my more evadey style characters. So you can see here, she has no problem hitting him. And this is kind of what I was interested in. Like, it's not super accurate here, but the friend level build that we're looking at here just isn't really good enough to be an evasion style character. But who knows, maybe we need to just run the thief benefit, which will boost his evasion. But yeah, I was kind of, even looking at the friend unit earlier on, I was pretty much being like, yeah, this isn't going to work for evasion. Would be nice, but we're probably not getting there. So let's try a few other characters. Storia is, you know, obviously really, really strong, really, really powerful. And you can see just how quickly this guy is able to dish out a lot of damage. But let's just go here. We're gonna do this, give our guy a boost. Gonna run over here, and we'll just again see how the accuracy is going. Okay, gonna give a haste here. We're gonna let Aerith sit for a bit. We're gonna bring just her out just to try and absorb some of the damage, just so we can get a little more flexibility time. And so yeah, let's see. So he's at 38 AP right now. We have this AP regeneration ability. We have the move and critical hit up. We have this ability, which is his new style of defense and everything. I kind of want to run that ability right away, but we know what it does, right? We know that it's giving us a 30 defense and everything like that. So even if we just look at his character in battle, we're essentially going up to 42 defense and 37 spirit. Pretty good overall for a non-tank. Not anywhere near as high as a tank-based character would be, but, you know, pretty good. So let's run this ability. We're going to get that as we go up to 57 AP. Pretty nice. Go with that agility boost. Okay, we're getting some attacks thrown at us. Not a big deal. Never is. I mean, water is probably my strongest element, and rightly so. So one more time. Throw off one more quick little boost here. Get Asterisk going. Now we could just bring Farm right up, and we might actually do that. Because why not? But, you know, you take a look at, like, characters like this water elemental team is capable of doing here. Even against this level 80 enemy, like, we're just looking at a lot of damage. Also getting that nice little chaining one in. As you can see here, our movement not quite high enough, and we're just, like, trying to throw some attacks around. We're already running into some height issues. We can hit her, and we're not going to do that because we are not people. We could run the move up. That would probably be smarter. No, I don't want that one. This is the one I want. Just gonna punch these two. Just gonna let Titus clear out some of this. And I guess it would be a little unfair to unleash Asterius on them, and we do want some some data on what this guy is capable of doing. Still not in range. That's... Oh, we have this. So yeah, you can see, like, versus Titus with a 2-hit kind of ability, how much damage we're doing. It's a good amount for sure. I don't know if it's, like, overly impressive, but yeah, look, high amount of damage. Got some AP regeneration off of that. overall pretty nice. And we're sending Farm to kill this just because we can. A couple more other enemies coming in here, dealing massive amounts of damage to us. We will never financially recover from this kind of thing. But yeah, water is like one of my favorite elements in the game currently. So a new water elemental character always makes me happy. Well, happy is a strong word. I'll show you, Titus. We're not punching Titus. That's very rude. Seems like the enemy's already doing that for us. So limit burst wise, you can see here, hitting the Lamia for a lot. Guess we'll turn on. I naturally have these off, and I always forget to turn it on before we get going. We'll go down to 2 speed because it's not super fast, but pretty cool looking limit burst. Good amount of damage. Got some AP back off of it. And we still have more units teleporting in. Hey, that's an Energist. Cool. As we watch the water party just doing what it does best. Killing the guys. Why are you talking? Also, Runic, still one of my favorite. Oh, we got a nice little evasion there. Uniarrow. I bring Aerith for the support. I could have sworn he has an attack that actually got up there. That'll work. Alright, so let's just put everybody on hold and see what his AI does here. Alright, good amount of attack. Hitting another critical. Not under any kind of super threat, so we can just chill out a bit. Alright, well that was pretty rude, so we'll just get some Beyblade style action. Get in there. Trying to give him a chance to get a few more attacks in. See what he does with his AP whittled down. Basic attack. Yeah, as you kind of expected. So yeah, I think overall from my general test, I mean, he fits well into what water is currently doing and everything. I mean, water has a very good sword group between Titus and Celeste and Astoria, and I know some of those are limited, or most of those are limited. But with farm and everything, like, this is very much a PvE style character. Some nice stats and everything. Definitely doesn't feel like anything you need to get, but if you did end up getting him, he's one of the characters that I think is just going to be generally more interesting and useful in the long run. In terms of PvE content, and may even find his way into PvP teams because water can generally do that. The only thing, like, really before like doing this review is I wish I kind of had the unit because I'd like to switch him out with different espers, just kind of more of a damage approach. But, you know, with the current way that my water team is now, he seems very capable of hitting the damage limit and exceeding it quite nicely with his chaining abilities. So let me know what you think of Chunak in the comments below. Would you be interested in getting him? Yes, no, maybe so. off banner or on banner. Either way, he seems pretty cool, and it's pretty nice to have another male character. So thank you for watching. Take care, and see you next time.